Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome to my channel, Renew with Jew. I'm Judy Abois, if you don't know me. And this channel, Renew with Jew, is basically me getting renewed through the process, being refined through the fire. And Abba use, bleh, Abba use fitness to increase my faith. So that's pretty much, it's been an adventure. It's been an adventure for sure. So I wanted to talk to you guys about how I had to walk through breaking the stronghold of pride. Okay. Deeply rooted within me, was deeply rooted within me. It's no longer a stronghold now. Now I'm working on breaking the behaviors that come along with pride. And what I mean by that is when there are different strongholds in your life, spiritual strongholds, you can get rid of the spirit, but you got to get rid of the behaviors of the spirit because there's a lot of things that we're walking in and behaviors that we have, and we think it's us, but it's actually not us. It's the behaviors that we've taken on from these spiritual things. And when it comes to pride, Leviathan is, which he's referenced in the Bible, especially in the book of Job, and he has very strong scales, and Yah has to deal with that. I guess he's a principality. I'm not sure when it comes to that whole breakdown, but I know that he is up there. He is up there, and it's not like an easy peasy 1 2 3 cast out. Like that's one of those spirits where it says, I don't even know the verse, but it talks about like when Yahusha talks about that only this kind come out. I think it's Matthew something, verse 22. Sorry, y'all. Y'all can Google it. You can Google it. So I was very prideful, very, very prideful. What do I mean by that? Because I remember I had a friend who I was sharing this with, and she was like, "What? You?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because pride is not always boastful. It's not always puffed up like, "Oh, I got it all," and da 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 da. That ain't me anyway. Because I be wanting to hide in the corner, y'all. I be wanting to hide. If I can stay hidden, I will stay hidden. But y'all won't let me. So here I am. Here I am. But pride, the way that pride operated in my life was I can do it by myself. I don't need any help. I don't want any help. I'll figure it out. And even though a lot of this is spiritual, I was raised to be very independent, very independent. Um, and I'm not going to say is there anything wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that because I've gained a lot of skills to be able to take care of myself. But at the same time, that independency can become very perverted to the point where I don't need help from anyone. And that includes I don't need help from Yah. So many years I've been doing things for myself. So many years I've been carrying burdens on my own. And Yah was never included in anything. He wasn't. I was very lukewarm before 2020. I I didn't read the Bible for myself, so I was just like, oh, okay, I believe in Yahusha. I believe in the Messiah, and I'll go to heaven. Even though something within me didn't sound right with that, I was like, is that easy? Is it really that easy? But that's not why we're here. Um, but yeah, so this pride, I've been going through some things, and I'm not going to go in detail with those things because it will be a later on testimony. If you guys follow me, I'll share things like here and there, but I have been, working on uprooting, um, sorting through trauma and healing through traumas and uprooting these spiritual things. because there is a link between the physical trauma side and then the spiritual side, you know. And when it comes to pride, walking through these hard things, it's forced me to have to receive help, like get to like being stripped down so bad that I had no choice. And that was hard. That was hard because I asked Abba, I'm like, why am I going through this? Like, this is just, like ridiculous. And again, I'm not going into detail. So I feel it's like, I know I'm like giving you guys like a half story, but as I'm working through these things and receiving help, from those who he has placed around me, um, whether it's financial help or, um, you know, spiritual advice or, uh, I don't know, maybe they have a resource or a connection or something like. There's just so many ways I've been getting help, even receiving a hug, even receiving a hug. I grew up and I didn't get affection, y'all. So hugs are very healing. Very healing. Being able to receive it though, that took a while. That took a while. It took a while. Bless the hearts of my faith sisters and where I go to fellowship. Because when I tell you they have the love of Hamashiach, surely, they surely do. That's been teaching me what love is, what love looks like. So, back with this pride, right? So going through these things and having to ask for help, it has broken a lot of things off of me. And some people that say that they have a stony heart. My heart wasn't necessarily stony. Like he didn't show me, like the image that Abba gave me was brick. So I always thought of the Jericho walls. I literally had a Jericho brick wall around my heart. He gave me the visual. And I knew that that brick had, it had to be broken down, right? And I call it the Jericho wall because in the Bible it talks about the story of the Jericho walls that came falling down, and those walls were thick, y'all. Like they were like thick, 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 like so thick. And yeah, so that had to be broken. And I remember, Abba was walking me through some things one day because I journal with him, and I talk to him physically as well. And I've been learning, excuse me, to listen to his response. Sometimes I hear a response, sometimes I don't. And this day, yes, he was walking me through it, and I was like hysterical. I was crying. I was just so upset. And I remember, and I'm like, something's off with me. And I instantly saw the words Leviathan over my mind, like in my mind. Because sometimes I'll see like images of a word, and I'm like Leviathan. So I'm like, okay, this is pride. So I have to call up, like I have to call out the spirit of pride. Like I have to, repent for it, renounce it, denounce it, and divorce and break agreement with it. At that point, it was actually time to break it off. So I was like hacking. If you ever been through deliverance, you can receive deliverance through many ways. Some people, because sometimes there's like a release that the spirit will leave up out of you, and that can be through crying, that can be through hacking. Some people even fart. That can be through, like you got all the snot, like it comes out. It comes out different ways. Um, I'm a screamer sometimes, and I was coughing and hacking. Like I wanted to throw up. So I went to the bathroom and I was sitting on the ledge of the tub, and I felt I felt led that I had to like do a prophetic act. And I remember seeing in my mind a rock. It was a gray rock that was like on the ground in front of me. And it's so funny because that's like a heart of stone, right? But isn't brick kind of connected to stone? So I guess I did have a heart of stone, but it just didn't look that way. He showed me brick. But in that image, it was actually a stone. Heart of stone. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, okay, okay. And I remember one of my faith sisters, she always said, she reminded me, it was like the first time I met her, she was like, you have a sword right behind you. You take that sword out and you use it against the enemy when you need to. And that memory popped into my head. So I was like, mind you, y'all, there was so many thoughts in my head because this is going on in half of my brain. The other half of my brain, like, am I crazy right now for thinking this? Am I doing this right? Am I hearing stuff? Am I leading myself through this? Like, it was just a lot. Because I'm still learning. I'm learning so much. So a lot of times I'm questioning a lot of things because I'm like, I don't even understand what's happening. And I take the sword, mind you, like literally I went like this in real life. And in my mind, I just imagined that I was hitting this rock and I hit it. And it was like hit it, I heard it like hit it 3 times. So I hit it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then I just had this knowing that I need to hit it 4 times. And I'm like, am I making this up? Am I telling myself this? So I was like, you know what? Just do it. And then I hit it 4 more times. And then I thought about it instantly. 7 is the number of completion. And I immediately saw the brick wall that was around my heart, half of it crumbled down. Half of it crumbled down. And I was like hysterical. It was happy tears because it was a relief because I was like, oh my goodness, like praise Yah, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting delivered, I'm getting set free from the stronghold in my life. And that I really didn't realize was there. Um, yeah. And so then I wondered, I was like, there's the other half of the stone. Sorry, y'all. I get a lot of the sunlight during this time of the day. I remember thinking like, okay, well, there's the other half now left. What do I do with that? Like, but I'm like, I mean, it's there. So I just got to keep living life and do the work, that God is calling me to do and working through these situations to heal and move in new behaviors. And I want to add that because as I'm healing, when I heal, I'm moving in new behaviors. That's what brings transformation. You can't say you healed and still doing the same thing. It don't work that way because doing the same thing is going to cause you to walk in those behaviors that you're trying to move away from. Like the old stuff, You want to have the new stuff. So some months later, he had me write a letter to an individual in my life. And I didn't want to write that letter. I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do it. Part of the reason was because of a fear of rejection. I was definitely afraid that if I wrote this letter that this person would reject me. And I remember telling y'all, I'm like, I can't do that because I'm like, if I write this letter and this person rejects me, I'm gonna be very angry at you, and all the work that you're doing within me is gonna turn into it's gonna be vain because it's gonna cause me to walk away from you, and I'm gonna go backwards. And it was hard, y'all. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like it was hard. Like I was crying. Like I was hysterical. Like I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Like why would you put me through this? That was the main thing. Like why would you put me through this? Like the conversation that me and y'all be having. Listen. I keep it real, my Heavenly Father, for the most part. Sometimes I walk. I try to. Sometimes I wind up being avoidant, but then I'm like, Judy, stop. Let's do this. You know. And so he showed me. Well, first he told me that I was protecting all these years. The problem was I was protecting my own heart. And that's why it had that brick around it. But now he has my heart. So now that he has my heart, he's protecting my heart. And I don't have to protect my heart anymore because he's going to do it for me. Y'all, that's another level of trust. Okay. That's one of the promises he told me. He was going to teach me that walk on water type faith, and to have that walk on water type faith, you have to be able to trust, and trust was something I came out of the womb not having, which is why I had to resort back to the beginning so I can build trust with Yah and with those who are around me, and praise Yah because he has blessed me with amazing people around me. Amazing people. Like, wow. I'm lost for words, y'all. A lot of times, sometimes it can even be triggering. It can be very triggering receiving love in a different way. We're receiving love in Yah's way. I'll say that because sometimes people, they have so many definitions of love, but their definition of love is not Yah's definition. So when he told me that he's protecting my heart because he has it, I saw an image of a fire surrounding my heart. It was an entire fire surrounding my heart, and there was no brick wall. And so now when I see fire, especially like a fireplace, if you've ever sat near a fireplace, you feel that warmth on your skin. It just makes you feel soft, and that's what heat does, right? Don't get me wrong, he can dry up something, he can burn some things, but he can also keep things soft, you know. And I say that, right, because when things are cold, okay, Abba, I see you. Okay, so when things are cold, right, it gets stiff. I think about when I have pasta, it gets stiff when it's cold, but when I warm it up, it softens, becomes flexible, like, you know what I mean. And that's what he has my heart now, y'all. And that day I was like, that showed me like that stronghold of pride is not there anymore. It's not. And then guess what? Just a few weeks later, he revealed to me that I was dealing with so much offense. No, for real though, I'm serious though. That was the next part. That's the next part I'm going to talk about. The offense that he has been walking me through. I didn't realize that I was offended because a lot of people be like, "Oh, did you forgive this person? Did you forgive that person? Did you forgive that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I forgave," but I didn't realize I had offense. But it wasn't offense against individuals. It was offense against Abaya. And I will be doing a video to share that. Um, but yeah, so that is my testimony of being healed from the stronghold of pride, Leviathan, who has many faces, many, many, many faces. I don't know if I'll do a video on the spirit of pride. If Abba leads me to, I will. But it has many faces, y'all. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of people that walk in pride and have no idea. They have no idea because they think it's just them being boastful. They think they're being so humble because they don't want help from people. But in fact, they're actually being prideful. Because if they get help from someone, what does that mean? Are they going to be embarrassed? Are they going to feel shamed? Are they going to feel like they're a failure? There's so many things within that. So many things within that. Actually, I didn't even get into that part. That's why I never wanted to ask for help, because if I asked for help, that meant that I did something wrong. If I asked for help, that meant that, I was stupid. If I asked for help, that means that, I would feel embarrassed because I just wasn't doing something right, you know? So asking for help led to a lot of condom. I associated, well, for me, with my brain, help was all types of condemnation. Okay. All types of condemnation. Um, People may try to debate that, but the facts are the facts. But yeah. So that's that. Thanks for listening, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. All right.